The Council's last stand. The ancient, massive Galactic Council chambers shook with rage as the 100,000 alien representatives inside howled for human extermination. Councillor Morek, a towering figure clad in battle-worn armor, slammed his fist on the podium, his voice echoing through the chamber. "We must kill every last human before their violent, barbaric fleets destroy the galaxy." Morek roared, his eyes blazing with fury. The cry was met with a chorus of cheers from many in the cavernous stone hall. "Wipe out humans now," they chanted, their voices filled with venom. But not all agreed. Some alien leaders remained silent, their faces etched with concern. "Humans have broken no laws," said Councillor Thal, a dignified elder of the Syrian race, his voice calm yet resolute. "Attacking them unprovoked is genocide. Are we truly prepared to stain our hands with such blood?" Before Thal could continue, a sudden klaxon blared through the chamber, silencing the debate. A council scout ship had sent an urgent message. On the main screen, the insectoid pilot appeared, his 8 eyes wide with terror. "Humans have a secret star destroyer," the pilot stammered. "It dwarfs our largest ships 100-fold. Panic erupted in the council hall. Whispers turned to shouts as the reality of the situation sank in. Humanity was far stronger than they had realized. The threat was not just real, it was imminent. "We must strike now." Romorg, a hulking brute of the Xanthar race, bellowed. "Destroy their star destroyer before it reaches us." The council took a hasty vote. Despite the divided opinions, the attack plan narrowly passed. A fleet of deadly council warships was quickly assembled and sent to intercept the human vessel at the galaxy's edge. If the fleet failed, the council worlds would be annihilated. Human domination of the stars would begin. On board the Titan's Fury, Captain Marcus Reeves sat in the command chair, his eyes locked on the view screen showing the approaching council fleet. A scar on his left cheek twitched as he clenched his jaw, a souvenir from the war with the Krev, one of the council races that had attacked a human mining colony unprovoked. "Captain, our stealth systems are holding," reported Commander Elena Nakamura, his first officer. "The council fleet hasn't detected us yet." Reeves nodded, his expression grim. "Good. Let them keep thinking we're defenseless until it's too late." He thought back to all the events that had brought them to this point. The Council had never accepted humanity as an equal member of the galactic community. They had always sought to control and subjugate humans, to keep them weak and divided. But humanity had refused to bow down. When the Council races attacked human colonies, the Terran Union had responded with force, driving them back. When the Council tried to sabotage human diplomatic efforts, Terran ambassadors had outmaneuvered them at every turn. And when the Council demanded that humanity submit to their rule, the Terran president had told them to go to hell. But now, the Council had gone too far. They had assembled a massive fleet to wipe out humanity once and for all. They thought that humans were weak, that they would be easy prey. They were wrong. The Titan's Fury was humanity's answer to the Council's aggression. A secret project years in the making, it was designed specifically to take on the Council's most powerful warships. And now, it was time to show the galaxy what humans were made of. "All hands, battle stations," Reeves ordered over the ship's intercom. Klaxons blared and red lights flashed as the crew raced to their posts. On the view screen, the Council fleet grew larger as it approached. Reeves counted at least 50 ships, each one bristling with weapons. But he wasn't worried. The Titan's Fury was more than a match for them. "Weapons status report," he barked. "All systems online and ready, sir," replied Lieutenant Chen, the weapons officer. "Plasma cannons fully charged, missile bays loaded, and the prototype quantum torpedo is armed and ready." Reeves allowed himself a small smile. The quantum torpedo was the Titan's Fury's secret weapon, a devastating device that could punch through any known shield or armor. It had never been tested in battle before, but Reeves had no doubt that it would work. "Excellent," he said. "Helm, plot an intercept course. We'll hit them head-on and punch a hole right through their formation." "Aye, sir," said Ensign Rodriguez, the helmsman. The Titan's fury surged forward, its engines flaring bright against the darkness of space. As they closed in on the Council fleet, Reeves stood up from his chair and faced his crew. The Council's last stand. The ancient, massive Galactic Council chambers shook with rage as the 100,000 alien representatives inside howled for human extermination. Councillor Morek, a towering figure clad in battle-worn armor, slammed his fist on the podium, his voice echoing through the chamber. "We must kill every last human before their violent, barbaric fleets destroy the galaxy." Morek roared, his eyes blazing with fury. The cry was met with a chorus of cheers from many in the cavernous stone hall. "Wipe out humans now," they chanted, their voices filled with venom. But not all agreed. Some alien leaders remained silent, their faces etched with concern. "Humans have broken no laws," said Councillor Thal, a dignified elder of the Syrian race, his voice calm yet resolute. "Attacking them unprovoked is genocide. Are we truly prepared to stain our hands with such blood?" Before Thal could continue, a sudden klaxon blared through the chamber, silencing the debate. A Council scout ship had sent an urgent message. On the main screen, the insectoid pilot appeared, his 8 eyes wide with terror. "Humans have a secret star destroyer," the pilot stammered. "It dwarfs our largest ships 100-fold. Panic erupted in the Council hall. Whispers turned to shouts as the reality of the situation sank in. Humanity was far stronger than they had realized. The threat was not just real, it was imminent. "We must strike now." Romorg, a hulking brute of the Xanthar race, bellowed. "Destroy their star destroyer before it reaches us." The Council took a hasty vote. Despite the divided opinions, the attack plan narrowly passed. A fleet of deadly Council warships was quickly assembled and sent to intercept the human vessel at the galaxy's edge. If the fleet failed, the Council worlds would be annihilated. Human domination of the stars would begin. On board the Titan's Fury, Captain Marcus Reeves sat in the command chair, his eyes locked on the view screen showing the approaching Council fleet. A scar on his left cheek twitched as he clenched his jaw, a souvenir from the war with the Krev, one of the Council races that had attacked a human mining colony unprovoked. "Captain, our stealth systems are holding," reported Commander Elena Nakamura, his first officer. "The Council fleet hasn't detected us yet." Reeves nodded, his expression grim. "Good. Let them keep thinking we're defenseless until it's too late." He thought back to all the events that had brought them to this point. The Council had never accepted humanity as an equal member of the galactic community. They had always sought to control and subjugate humans, to keep them weak and divided. But humanity had refused to bow down. When the Council races attacked human colonies, the Terran Union had responded with force, driving them back. When the Council tried to sabotage human diplomatic efforts, Terran ambassadors had outmaneuvered them at every turn. And when the Council demanded that humanity submit to their rule, the Terran president had told them to go to hell. But now, the Council had gone too far. They had assembled a massive fleet to wipe out humanity once and for all. They thought that humans were weak, that they would be easy prey. They were wrong. The Titan's Fury was humanity's answer to the Council's aggression. A secret project years in the making, it was designed specifically to take on the Council's most powerful warships. And now, it was time to show the galaxy what humans were made of. "All hands, battle stations," Reeves ordered over the ship's intercom. Klaxons blared and red lights flashed as the crew raced to their posts. On the view screen, the Council fleet grew larger as it approached. Reeves counted at least 50 ships, each one bristling with weapons. But he wasn't worried. The Titan's Fury was more than a match for them. "Weapons status report," he barked. "All systems online and ready, sir," replied Lieutenant Chen, the weapons officer. "Plasma cannons fully charged, missile bays loaded, and the prototype quantum torpedo is armed and ready." Reeves allowed himself a small smile. The quantum torpedo was the Titan's Fury's secret weapon, a devastating device that could punch through any known shield or armor. It had never been tested in battle before, but Reeves had no doubt that it would work. "Excellent," he said. "Helm, plot an intercept course. We'll hit them head-on and punch a hole right through their formation." "Aye, sir," said Ensign Rodriguez, the helmsman. The Titan's fury surged forward, its engines flaring bright against the darkness of space. As they closed in on the Council fleet, Reeves stood up from his chair and faced his crew. "This is it, people," he said. "This is what we've been training for. The Council thinks they can push us around, but we're going to show them what happens when you mess with humanity. We're going to hit them hard and fast, and we're not going to stop until every last one of their ships is nothing but space dust." The crew cheered, their faces grim and determined. They knew what was at stake. If they failed here, it would mean the end of humanity. But they wouldn't fail. They couldn't. "All right, people, let's do this," Reeves said. "Fire at will." The Titan's fury opened up with a full barrage, its weapons blazing to life as it charged towards the enemy fleet. The battle for humanity's future had begun. The Council fleet surrounded the Titan's fury, their sleek ships glinting with polished alloys and bristling with energy cannons. Dozens of destroyers and frigates assumed attack formations, while a monstrous dreadnought loomed behind them. On the bridge of the dreadnought, an insectoid figure stood with its forearms clasped behind its thorax. Admiral Zarian narrowed his compound eyes at the view screen showing the human vessel. "Open a channel." Zarian clicked his mandibles. The comms officer hastened to obey, and the human captain's scarred face appeared on screen, his expression defiant. "This is Admiral Zarian of the Morg Imperium," Zarian said. "Your single ship is hopelessly outmatched. Surrender immediately or be destroyed." Captain Reeves glared back, a slight smirk on his lips. "No." Zarian's antennae quivered with rage. "How dare this primate defy me?" he hissed. "So be it. All ships, open fire. Reduce that human scrap heap to molten slag." The Council fleet unleashed a storm of plasma bolts and antimatter missiles. Hundreds of energy blasts streaked across space toward the Titan's fury. But as the barrage reached the human ship, the projectiles splashed harmlessly against an invisible barrier. Shimmering energy shields absorbed the incoming fire. On the Fury's bridge, the crew erupted into cheers as the deck shuddered from the assault. "Shields holding," shouted Ensign Jameson from Tactical. Captain Reeves nodded, his eyes still locked on the enemy fleet. "All right, people, let's show these Council bastards what human ingenuity can do. All weapons, fire at will. Carve us a path through their line." The Titan's fury opened up with a devastating salvo. Railgun slugs the size of shuttlecraft smashed into Council ships, tearing through hulls and detonating antimatter reactors. Lances of directed energy sliced destroyers in half. Kinetic kill vehicles accelerated to relativistic speeds in seconds, punching straight through shields to core out ships from stem to stern. Council vessels crumpled and exploded under the onslaught, spewing atmosphere and debris. The Morg's crew screamed as the Titan's fury shredded their fleet. A destroyer's warp core detonated, vaporizing a dozen nearby ships. A frigate's hull buckled, spilling thrashing crewmen into the void. On the dreadnought's bridge, warning klaxons blared as the ship lurched from a railgun impact. Consoles exploded in showers of sparks. Admiral Zarian stumbled, ichor oozing from a head wound. He watched in disbelief as the human ship tore through his fleet with impunity, their weapons slicing through the most advanced Council armor like tissue paper. "Impossible," Zarian hissed, his mandibles quivering. "Comms, get a message to the Council. Warn them the humans have weapons beyond our worst nightmares." But before the message could be sent, the dreadnought's bridge view screen flared white, then went dark as a plasma lance gutted the warship from prow to engines. Zarian barely had time to screech before a wave of plasma reduced him and his crew to free-floating atoms. The Titan's fury surged through the gap it had blown in the enemy formation, rolling and firing nonstop. Reeves felt a savage joy as his ship broke the first strike. The atmosphere aboard the Titan's Fury was tense as the crew prepared for their next mission. Captain Marcus Reeves stood on the bridge, his gaze fixed on the stars outside the view screen. The destruction of the Council fleet had sent shockwaves through the galaxy, and the Council's high command was in disarray. But Reeves knew better than to underestimate them. The Council would regroup, and when they did, they would come back with everything they had. "We've got to hit them first," Reeves thought grimly, "before they can gather their strength." The plan. Reeves turned to Commander Elena Nakamura, his first officer. "We can't wait for them to make the next move. We need to take the fight to them, right at their heart." Nakamura nodded, her eyes reflecting the same determination Reeves felt. "Agreed, Captain. We've got the coordinates for their central command hub on the Council's homeworld. If we hit it, we could cripple their entire war effort." "But it won't be easy," added Lieutenant Chen, the weapons officer. "That place is going to be fortified to hell and back. We'll be facing the most advanced defenses they have." Reeves smiled, a fierce light in his eyes. "Good. Then it'll be a real test for the Titan's Fury." The infiltration. As the Titan's Fury sped through hyperspace towards the Council homeworld, the crew prepared for the most dangerous mission they had ever undertaken. Reeves knew that a direct assault would be suicidal. Instead, they needed to rely on stealth, cunning, and the element of surprise. "Commander Nakamura, ready the infiltration team," Reeves ordered. "We're going in quiet. No one even knows we're there until it's too late." Nakamura quickly assembled a team of the ship's best operatives. Clad in adaptive camouflage suits, they would blend in with the environment and go undetected by the Council's sensors. As the Titan's Fury dropped out of hyperspace just outside the Council's sensor range, the infiltration team boarded a small, stealthy shuttle. With the ship's cloaking technology active, the shuttle slipped past the Council's outer defenses and began its descent towards the planet's surface. A world of iron and fire. The Council homeworld was a stark contrast to the vibrant, diverse worlds of human space. The sky was a sickly orange, choked with pollution from the massive industrial complexes that sprawled across the surface. Towering spires of metal and concrete pierced the sky, connected by a web of bridges and walkways. The air was thick with the stench of chemicals and machinery. The infiltration team landed undetected in a remote sector of the capital city. Moving swiftly and silently, they'd made their way through the labyrinth of alleys and tunnels, avoiding patrols and surveillance drones. Their target was the Central Command Hub, a heavily fortified structure deep within the city. It was here that the Council High Command coordinated their military operations. Destroying it would cripple their ability to wage war and buy humanity the time it needed to prepare for the next phase of the conflict. Into the lion's den. The team reached the perimeter of the command hub without incident, but getting inside would be a different story. The hub was surrounded by multiple layers of energy shields, automated turrets, and patrols of heavily armed guards. Nakamura led the team to a maintenance hatch hidden beneath a bridge. It was a small, narrow access point, but it was their best shot at getting inside without raising the alarm. "Here's where it gets tricky," Nakamura whispered to the team. "We have to disable the internal security systems before we can move deeper into the complex. Chen, you're up." Lieutenant Chen moved to the hatch and connected a small device to the control panel. A few moments later, the security grid flickered and then went offline. "We're in," Chen said, his voice barely above a whisper. The team slipped inside the complex, moving swiftly through the dimly lit corridors. Every step was taken with caution, every sound monitored. They knew that one misstep could bring the entire complex down on them. The core. After what felt like hours of tense movement, the team reached the heart of the complex, the command core. This was the nerve center of the Council's military operations, a massive chamber filled with rows of consoles and holographic displays. Alien officers and technicians moved about, unaware of the human operatives hiding in the shadows. Nakamura signaled the team to fan out. Their objective was clear: plant explosive charges at key points around the core, then get out before the fireworks began. As the team moved into position, Reeves' voice crackled in their earpieces. "Remember, this has to be clean. We blow the core, cripple their command structure, and get out before they know what hit them. No unnecessary risks. Betrayal in the ranks." Just as the team was about to place the last charge, the unexpected happened. One of the alien officers paused, his eyes narrowing, as if sensing something was wrong. Then, in a flash, he turned and barked an order in his guttural language. The complex erupted into chaos. Alarms blared, and guards flooded into the room. The team was pinned down, outnumbered, and outgunned. "This is bad," shouted one of the operatives as they took cover behind a console. "They know we're here." Nakamura cursed under her breath. "We've been compromised. They must have detected us somehow. Fall back to the extraction point." But as the team fought their way out of the core, it became clear that escape was not going to be easy. The guards were closing in, and the entire complex was on high alert. A desperate escape. Reeves watched from the bridge of the Titan's Fury. His jaw clenched as he listened to the frantic reports from the infiltration team. They were in trouble, and he knew he had to act fast. "Helmsman, bring us into low orbit," Reeves ordered. "We're going to have to punch a hole for them to get out." As the Titan's Fury descended towards the planet, its weapons came online. The ship unleashed a barrage of firepower, targeting the defenses around the command hub. The ground shook as explosions tore through the city, creating a path for the infiltration team to escape. Nakamura and her team fought their way to the surface, where the shuttle was waiting. But just as they reached the landing pad, a squad of Council soldiers appeared, blocking their path. "We're not going to make it," one of the operatives shouted as they fired at the advancing soldiers. Nakamura gritted her teeth. "We'll make it. We have to." Suddenly, the sky above them lit up as the Titan's Fury opened fire. A rain of plasma bolts slammed into the soldiers, scattering them and clearing the way for the team to reach the shuttle. "Go, go, go," Nakamura shouted as the team scrambled aboard. The shuttle lifted off just as the Council forces closed in, racing towards the waiting Titan's Fury. Victory, at a cost. Back on the Titan's Fury, Reeves watched as the shuttle docked with the ship. He let out a breath he hadn't realized he was holding. They had done it. The command core was destroyed, and the Council's military operations were in disarray. But it had come at a cost. Several operatives had not made it back, and those who had were battered and exhausted. Nakamura herself was bleeding from a wound in her side, but she refused medical attention until everyone else had been treated. As the Titan's Fury jumped to hyperspace, leaving the burning Council homeworld behind, Reeves allowed himself a moment of grim satisfaction. They had struck a devastating blow against the Council, but the war was far from over. The aftermath. News of the attack spread quickly through the galaxy. The Council was reeling, their command structure in shambles. But even as the surviving Council leaders scrambled to regroup, a new and even more dangerous threat was emerging. In the shadows, those who sought to take advantage of the chaos were beginning to make their moves. The Council was weakened, but far from defeated. And now, new alliances were being forged, alliances that could change the course of the war. Reeves knew that the fight was only just beginning. The destruction of the command hub was a victory, but it was also a warning. The Council would not take this lying down. They would come back, stronger and more determined than ever. And when they did, humanity would be ready. Shadows of war. The Titan's Fury continued its journey through the void of space, but the crew's brief sense of victory was fading. The Council might have been temporarily weakened, but everyone on board knew that they would retaliate with unimaginable force. Captain Reeves had already begun planning their next move, but the looming uncertainty gnawed at him. The gathering storm. In the days following the assault on the Council's command hub, the crew of the Titan's Fury monitored galactic communications with increasing concern. Reports of unrest, uprisings, and skirmishes between different alien factions were flooding in. The power vacuum left by the Council's weakened state had emboldened others to rise up, each seeking to carve out their own piece of the galaxy. "What do you make of this, Elena?" Reeves asked Nakamura, who was poring over the latest intelligence reports. She looked up, her brow furrowed. "It's chaos, Captain. The Council's grip on their territory is slipping, and everyone is rushing to fill the void. But it's not just a free-for-all. There are rumors of new alliances forming, even among species that were previously hostile to each other." Reeves nodded grimly. "The enemy of my enemy is my friend. They're banding together because they see us as the bigger threat." "Exactly. And if they unite under a common cause, we could be facing a force even more dangerous than the Council was before." A new player. As the crew analyzed the reports, one name kept appearing with increasing frequency: the Vraxan Dominion. The Vraxans were an ancient and powerful species, long thought to be isolated in their distant, inhospitable corner of the galaxy. They had remained neutral in the conflict between humanity and the Council, content to watch from the sidelines. But now, it seemed, they were beginning to move. Why now? Reeves wondered aloud as he reviewed the data. What could have driven the Vraxans out of their seclusion? Commander Nakamura frowned. "They've always been an enigma. Their technology is far more advanced than anything we've seen, even more so than the Council's. If they've decided to enter the fray, we need to find out why. And fast." Reeves agreed. "We can't afford to be caught off guard. Set a course for the nearest human outpost. We need to regroup and gather more intel before we make our next move." As the Titan's Fury changed course, Reeves couldn't shake the feeling that they were heading into something far more dangerous than anything they had faced before. The outpost. The Titan's Fury arrived at Outpost Epsilon 7, a remote human settlement on the fringes of Council space. The outpost was little more than a small station orbiting a barren moon, but it was a crucial listening post that monitored the surrounding sectors for any sign of trouble. When the Titan's Fury docked, Reeves and Nakamura met with the outpost's commander, Colonel Laura Harker, a seasoned officer with a reputation for getting the job done. "Captain Reeves," Harker greeted him with a firm handshake. "We've been expecting you. I've got some intel you're going to want to see." Reeves and Nakamura followed Harker to the command center, where a holographic map of the galaxy was displayed. Red markers indicated hotspots of conflict, while yellow markers represented known Council forces. But what caught Reeves' attention were the new blue markers scattered across the map. "These are Vraxan ships," Harker explained. "They've been appearing all over the place, but they're not attacking. They're observing." Nakamura leaned in closer to study the map. "It's like they're scouting the battlefield, trying to assess the situation before they make their move." "Exactly," Harker said. "We've picked up their communications, but it's all encrypted. We can't crack it, and we have no idea what their intentions are. But we do know this: they're not here to make peace." The message. As the officers discussed their next steps, an alert sounded from the communications console. A message was coming in, but it wasn't from any known frequency. The signal was strong, and it was directed specifically at the Titan's Fury. "What the hell is this?" Reeves asked as the message was decoded and displayed on the screen. The message was simple, but chilling. "Humanity's defiance has not gone unnoticed. You have struck a blow against the Council, but your victory will be short-lived. The Vraxan Dominion is watching. Surrender now, or face annihilation." The room fell silent as the implications of the message stank in. The Vraxans had made their intentions clear. They were not interested in negotiation or diplomacy. They saw humanity as a threat that needed to be eliminated. Reeves clenched his fists, his mind racing. The Vraxans had remained neutral for so long, and now they were declaring themselves as humanity's enemy. But why? What's their angle? Nakamura wondered aloud. Why now? Why side with the Council? Reeves shook his head. It doesn't matter. They've made their move. And now we have to respond. But we can't fight a war on two fronts. We need to find a way to drive a wedge between the Vraxans and the Council. The Alliance. With the Vraxans now in play, Reeves knew that humanity couldn't stand alone against the combined might of the Council and the Dominion. They needed allies, and fast. But the question was, who could they trust? Colonel Harker, Reeves said, turning to the outpost commander, do we have any intel on potential allies? Any factions that might be willing to join us against the Council and the Vraxans? Harker nodded. There are a few groups that might be sympathetic to our cause. Some of the smaller species that have suffered under Council rule, for example. But they're scattered and disorganized. We'd need to unite them somehow. Nakamura looked thoughtful. What about the Trelvans? They've been at odds with the Council for centuries. If we could convince them to join us, it might tip the scales in our favor. Reeves considered this. The Trelvans were a formidable species, known for their advanced technology and strategic cunning. But they were also fiercely independent and distrustful of outsiders. Convincing them to ally with humanity would be no easy task. It's worth a shot, Reeves said finally. Set a course for Trelvan space. If we can bring them on board, we might just have a chance. As the Titan's fury prepared to depart, Reeves knew that the coming days would be critical. The galaxy was on the brink of an all-out war, and humanity's survival depended on the choices they made now. But one thing was certain. They would not go down without a fight. The Trelvan Enigma. The journey to Trelvan space was tense. The Trelvans had always been enigmatic, keeping to themselves and rarely engaging with other species. Their homeworld was located in a region of space shrouded in dense nebulae, making it difficult to approach without detection. As the Titan's fury neared the Trelvan border, they received a terse communication. This is Trelvan sovereign space. State your purpose or be destroyed. Reeves stepped forward. This is Captain Marcus Reeves of the Titan's Fury. We seek an audience with the Trelvan High Council to discuss a mutual threat. There was a long pause before the voice responded. You may proceed, but be warned, any attempt to deceive or attack us will result in your immediate destruction. The crew held their breath as the Titan's Fury was escorted by a squadron of sleek Trelvan warships. The ships were unlike anything they had ever seen, with sharp angles and glowing blue energy lines running along their hulls. It was a clear reminder of the technological superiority the Trelvans held. The Titan's Fury soon arrived at the Trelvan homeworld, a planet that was as mysterious as its inhabitants. The planet's surface was covered in a thick layer of mist, with towering structures barely visible through the haze. The meeting. Reeves, Nakamura, and a small diplomatic team were escorted to the Trelvan High Council chamber, a vast room with a domed ceiling that shimmered with a holographic display of the galaxy. The Trelvan High Councilors, draped in ornate robes, stood in a semicircle, their faces obscured by hoods. One of the councilors stepped forward. Captain Reeves, you stand before the Trelvan High Council. Speak your case. Reeves took a deep breath. Councilors, the galaxy is on the brink of war. The Council is wounded but not defeated, and now the Vraxan Dominion has declared its intent to destroy humanity. We come to you not as enemies, but as allies against a common threat. If the Council and the Vraxans succeed, they will not stop with us. They will come for you next. The councilors exchanged glances, their expressions unreadable. Finally, the lead councilor spoke. The Trelvans have no love for the Council, but we do not rush into alliances lightly. What can you offer us in return for our aid? Reeves knew this was the critical moment. He had to make them see the benefits of joining forces with humanity. Together, we can break the Council's hold on the galaxy, Reeves said. With your technology and our resolve, we can defeat them. In return, we offer our support in any future endeavors you may undertake.